Hello, everyone. Thanks for checking out this episode of Really Dicey. This is Manny.
I'm Matt. Today, we're going to be looking at some more Kickstarter treasures. It is April 2022. So, Manny, what have you got for me?
So, before we begin our discussion, we need to talk about this. I've been looking for a good initiative tracker for some time. When my players are fighting against a lot of different situations or enemies at once, it would be good to have something else besides using my memory or a sheet of paper to keep track of initiative. Dungeons and Dragons and their starter sets have initiative cards, and they work okay. But this incredible looking initiative tracker is by Degenerate Polygons. They are a group of creators who produce items like this. So their initiative tracker, Kickstarter, offers STL files for 3D printing, as well as a commercial license, as well as if you just want to get the physical tower. What I love best about this are the magnets on the side, so you could organize your initiative order kind of like this. And you can decide if you want to use chalk or markers. Also, there's a nice place on top to hold some extra dice. If you love having props at a table and you look for something functional for gaming and management, give yourself a few minutes to check out their Kickstarter. Now let's continue showcasing some other great crowdfunding projects.
So again, reaching back to some of our past videos, we did a video about Troika, which is a very strange role-playing game from across the pond over in England. You just go watch the video. It's hard to explain. But my first find for this month is called the Ruinous Palace of the Metegorgos. It is an adventure for Troika, and it says it's a densely packed adventure, location easily inserted in ongoing games or used as a one-shot. It describes itself as an adventure with mature but not adolescent themes: motherhood, birth, and mild body horror. I like that, actually. Too often mature seems to be anything but. It just means nudity and death and blood. So I think they mean mature in a more philosophical sense. Anyway, it seems to be about Mother of Monsters, who is not necessarily a villain that you can drop into your game. It doesn't say a lot about the adventure, which is good. So it doesn't have any spoilers, but it is a beautiful book. You can get yourself a hardcover copy for £12, which is about $16. So you should definitely check out the Kickstarter. Oh, it also says here that it can be run for BX. So that's early D&D. So you could use it in your OSE game, for instance. So anyway, it looks really good. Lots of great art, lots of really interesting themes.
Oh, that's awesome.
Weirdness from Troika.
My next recommendation is BEOWULF, The Trials of the Twin Seas for 5th edition. BEOWULF, Age of Heroes was a book that came out, I think, only for PDF, as far as I know, at least a drive-through. Yeah, you could pick it up there. It was nominated for an Emmy some time ago. It's again based on BEOWULF, The Legend of BEOWULF, and it's a very interesting system. It's only one game master, one player. There's only one class, which is the hero class, and 6 subclasses. So it's it uses 5th edition rules, but it's very minimal, which is very interesting. This new book is a series of 6 new adventures for the one game master, one player.
The next thing on my list is called Epigoni, I think. A Mythpop RPG. So this definitely created in Europe somewhere, because the page is half in Italian and it's got some French, and but there's some English there too. So what you get here is a setting which is a modern setting, a contemporary setting, where the characters are the wayward offspring of mythological deities. It feels a little bit like Noblesse and another game whose name suddenly I'm blanking. Was it Over the Edge RPG? Anyway, PCs are the offspring of these mythological creatures, but unlike their parents, they are not fully locked into the role. So the son of a god of thunder doesn't necessarily have to be that. The old gods were locked into their ways, but the younger offspring, the player characters, aren't. And so there are forces that are trying to push you into that archetype, but you can resist them and go your own way. So it looks like a very strange mythic punk game, a lot of archetypes and strange universal forces, and you're rebelling against them. Worth checking out if you like kind of a European sentiment.
All right, my next pick is Stage Heroism RPG by Nerdburger Games. I think I've talked before how I like the creativity behind Nerdburger Games. They always come up with something really interesting. I still love Low Stakes, which is their comedic vampire one. But so Stage Heroism is pretty much Venture Brothers, the RPG. At least that's what it feels like. You get to play a hero, you get to play a villain, you get to play a sidekick, and you just have it's a comedic themed game. It uses a very simple system. It just uses 2d10s. It allows some versatility, so you can use either super technology or superpowers. The art for this is fantastic. Fits the theme very well. Again, it only has 4 ability scores: charm, luck, physicality, and tinkery. Seeing what I've seen already from Nerdburger Games, I'm excited about this, just because I have played superhero games, but a lot of superhero RPGs tend to be very, very serious. But when you play them, they always turn to anarchy, always. So I'm
just
glad.
Give in and embrace the anarchy.
Exactly. So now at least the game, embraces that totally. So I think I definitely recommend this.
Cool. Sounds pretty neat. So my final game and the one I'm really excited, this looks fantastic, is another game using the Troika system. So we'll definitely put a link to our Troika review in the description. But this isn't an adventure. It's a full game. It's called Bones Deep. Yes. Okay, so in this game, you are skeletons. After you die, your skeleton hatches and shakes loose its fleshy remains and goes off. And you've ended up in the bottom of the ocean. And so after having shaken off your fleshy remains, you and your other skeleton pals set off across the ocean floor to explore. So this is fantastic. They make a point of the fact that you can't swim, right? So you're not moving in 3 dimensions, and you don't have to breathe, so there's no oxygen problem. So they've found a way to do an underwater adventure without those 2 big stumbling blocks in underwater adventures. Right? Okay. And there's so many great things about this game. One of the great things about this game is just how much of it is scientifically accurate. Not the skeletons, obviously, but but the creatures and the things actually found on the ocean floor. The ocean floor is in a completely alien world with really strange creatures, and they've incorporated a lot of them. They've exaggerated some for a little bit, and obviously there are they mention different factions and crazy treasures, and there's some magic and everything, but a lot of the creatures and the setting is actually scientifically accurate, and they've kept that in the book, so you can read about it. Just looks great. Skeletons walking around it's so fun. I can't wait. I'm going to back this one right away.
All right. So my next recommendation is Dragnar's Dungeon Puzzler. So it's all digital. and it's for about $35. And you just get a whole bunch of puzzles they can use for your game. How many?
Oh,
200, over 200 maps, monsters, character tokens, assets, and at least 3 PDFs full of role-playing content.
wow.
So yeah, it's a lot, and it's all digital, so that way you can print out the way you want it. You can have control. You have total control of how you want to set up your traps or your puzzles, as they say here. But it has all sorts of puzzles. So there's some that you just move tiles. There are word puzzles. There's some like Sudoku. Some are like chess. They were really creative in the amount of variety you can do for your campaign. Again, it's only $35, and it's a lot of. It comes with so much material. Wow. I don't know if I have. How many campaigns do I have to do so I can use them all up? I can't. I can't imagine the number. So there's just tons of great stuff here. Sorry, one more quick thing. About a month ago or so, we interviewed Luke Gygax about the adventures he is writing based on the setting of his creation called Okkorim. He now has 2 5e adventures on Kickstarter based on Okkorim, The Eye of Shantofi and The Heart of Shantofi. I will leave a link to the Kickstarter below, as well as our interview with Luke Gygax about Okkorim. So yes, thank you for watching. Take care. We'll see you next time. Any last words, Matt?
Skeletons on the ocean floor, walking around. Okay.